The world watched closely on May 7, 2025, as black smoke rose from the Sistine Chapel chimney, signaling that the Vatican Conclave had failed to elect a new pope on its first day. The highly anticipated vote followed the death of Pope Francis on April 21 at the age of 88. As is customary, cardinals from around the globe gathered in secrecy to participate in this sacred and historic electoral process, seeking divine guidance to choose the next spiritual leader of the Catholic Church. This first sign of indecision came just hours after the conclave officially commenced. At approximately 9 p.m. local time, the plume of black smoke billowing into the Roman sky confirmed what many had speculated. No cardinal had yet received the two-thirds majority vote required, 89 out of the 133 electors present, to ascend to the papacy. The outcome is not uncommon, as many conclaves in modern history have spanned multiple days and voting rounds before a consensus is reached. The 2025 conclave is notable not only because of its context following the transformative and often polarizing papacy of Francis, but also due to the unprecedented diversity within the College of Cardinals. Representing over 70 nations, this global cross-section of the Church reflects Pope Francis's vision of a more inclusive and decentralized Church. This shift in representation has made the outcome even harder to predict, with alliances and ideological divisions becoming more complex. Among the leading contenders to succeed Pope Francis is Cardinal Pietro Parolin, the Vatican Secretary of State. Known for his diplomatic acumen and experience in managing the Church's foreign relations, Parolin reportedly garnered support from about 50 cardinals during the initial round. While this places him ahead of other candidates, he remains short of the two-thirds threshold, leaving room for maneuvering and potential surprises in the rounds to come. Other prominent names floated as potential successors include Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle of the Philippines, Cardinal Matteo Zuppi of Italy, and Cardinal Pierbattista Pizzaballa, the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem. Each candidate brings a distinct vision for the future of the Church. Tagle, for instance, represents a more progressive and globalized face of Catholicism, while Zuppi has been involved in social justice and interfaith dialogue in Italy. Pizzaballa, meanwhile, holds deep connections to the Holy Land, an area of ongoing geopolitical and religious significance. Thousands of pilgrims and onlookers crowded into St. Peter's Square, watching the chimney with eager anticipation. Many expressed hope for a pope who will continue the reforms of Francis, especially regarding climate change, inclusivity, and the role of the laity. Others advocated for a return to more conservative theological interpretations, underscoring the ideological divide within the Church's leadership and global faithful. Amid the waiting and speculation, voices from advocacy groups and reform-minded Catholics also made themselves heard. Demonstrations in Rome called for greater inclusion of women in leadership roles and increased transparency in Church decision-making. These sentiments echo broader debates within the Church, particularly in light of sexual abuse scandals, dwindling vocations in the West, and the growing prominence of the Global South in the Catholic world. Despite the lack of a definitive outcome on the first day, the conclave will continue in earnest. Up to 4 votes may be held each day until a new pope is elected. With each round of voting, alliances may shift, and lesser-known candidates may emerge as compromise figures acceptable to various factions within the college. History has shown that front-runners do not always secure the papacy, and late surges in support can determine the final result. The process is shrouded in deep tradition, ceremony, and spiritual solemnity. Yet, the significance of this moment in history cannot be overstated. The next pope will inherit a global church at a crossroads, facing challenges ranging from declining influence in secular societies to the need for modernization and reconciliation with marginalized communities. As the cardinals return to the Sistine Chapel for another day of voting, eyes around the world remain fixed on the small chimney in Vatican City. The next puff of white smoke will herald the arrival of a new era for the Catholic Church, an era defined by the man chosen to wear the fisherman's ring and guide over 1.3 billion Catholics into an uncertain but hopeful future.